Okay, so now let's get down to details. We're going to work on a financial plan from scratch, right? From scratch, not from a template. Don't go looking on the internet for a template, because if you find a template, it's not your plan. It's someone else's plan. You need to know how every cell in your plan works. So I'm going to teach you how to do this from scratch. And don't fret. Take a deep breath. It's not going to be that complicated. You're going to start out slow. And yeah, within an hour or two, we're going to have a lot of digits on the page. But since you made the plan, you're going to know how all those digits came to be. So don't worry. So I've cracked open the book, green book. First thing we're going to do is lay out the standard format for one of these financial plans. Now, one more side, if you've learned accounting, if you've been trained how to do a P&L statement and a cash flow statement and a balance sheet, put that aside for now. If you haven't learned how to do that, awesome. Then you don't have to unlearn anything. We're going to create a document that doesn't really have a name. I just call it a financial plan. It's been called a pro forma, which just means we've made up some numbers. The key here is it's got a format that most investors and banks and whatnot are expecting to see. And it goes like this. At the top of the page, we're going to start with revenues. So again, how many units did you sell and what are the average price per sale? And then underneath that, we're going to take away your cost of goods. So we're going to list out all the cost of goods, just like we did with that opening back of the envelope plan. Now, again, back to jargon. If you take your gross revenue, which is how much money you took in total, and you subtract out your cost of goods, you get what's called net revenue. Right, that's how much money you have to operate the rest of your business. Then we go to the next section. The next section talks about all the expenses, all the fixed expenses it takes to run your business. These are salaries and rent and equipment and anything else, any big chunky expense you have, any expense you have, in fact, that isn't related specifically to delivering one unit. Right? So make as many rows as you need to describe this. You can add more rows later. You can start with one big miscellaneous at the bottom if it helps. And in the case of the Lemonade Company, we're going to make this rather simple. We're going to start with marketing with two subcategories, signs and flyers. And then in terms of operations, we're going to simplify it down to two things and just two things. Tables and spoons. Right, so tables kind of represents kind of all the fixed equipment you need to build your product. And spoons is kind of in there as a quick and dirty expense for what's it take to actually mix it together, right? Put the parts together. All right. Now, underneath that, we have another calculation. It's called net profit and loss. Again, really simple. We take our net profit, we subtract out our fixed expenses, and that tells us our net profit or loss. Did this company make money or lose money in this time period? Simple as that. And if we were doing a P&L, again, if you don't know, don't worry, but if we were doing a P&L, we would stop there. That would be the bottom line. But we're not doing a P&L, so it keeps going. Now, underneath that, we have a section talking about cash that has come into the company, but not from customers. This is cash that's provided by investors, or via loans, or if you're a nonprofit, via grants and donations. Any type of money that's come in that has nothing to do with selling your product goes down in this section. Make a row for it. Name it whatever is relevant to your company. And then underneath that is the most important line in this entire spreadsheet. It's called cash. It's a very special line. It is a different way of calculating, and I'll explain that in a bit. But the point of this line is to show us how much cash is in the bank at the bottom of the time period. Okay? Now, what we've done here is lay it out, and in the first column, we're going to work on month one in just a second. Right? We're going to do monthly financials for the first year, and then we'll do quarterlies after that. So this number at the very bottom of the first column will tell us how much cash will be in the bank at the end of month one.